We're gonna have more funnel in soon. Waiting on two more people to get here, and Vicky's gonna join us as well over Zoom.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
got a
know
good
Vicky
squad.
got into it too.
Yeah.
Awesome. That'll be fun. Oh,
Okay. Just heads up, we are live. I am just gonna send some links out real quick here, and Vicky's gonna join us as well over Zoom. But while I'm sending links out, welcome everyone to the 51st monthly Rhetoric Rabbit Hole Book Club. Here's the 51st one in a row.
wow.
Impressive.
Yeah. Been reading. Thanks everyone for being here. This month, we're talking about I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reid, recommended by David. That's Knife Back on Instagram. Thanks for the recommendation. I have mixed feelings about this book, which we'll get into later, but I do think it's an excellent choice for discussion. We also have Hyde and Liz of Cassette Stress.
Hey.
Liz is chomping on some spaghetti. She'll be here momentarily. Yes, we have lapels, and actually, I think you and Liz are probably gonna have to share one.
Okay.
So just kind of like hand off, or just
I wouldn't get along well enough for that.
yeah. Okay. In that case, me and David will share one.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fine.
There's four for now, but we'll have more people soon. So
yeah, because another couple is going to have to share
one.
This one.
So yeah.
What up,
Vicky?
Once that happens, you can just pass over
Yeah.
one or whatever.
But yeah, anything you want to plug? Any shows?
Yeah, so we're we are getting back on the road on Thursday, going up to Lexington, Kentucky, going to be playing the Owl Bar, and then Columbus, Ohio, going to be playing at Space Bar, and then on Saturday, that's on Friday. On Saturday, we're going to be playing at Maple Leaf in Pittsburgh. So yeah, excited to get back out there.
Well, and our Nashville show coming up.
Oh yeah, wait on the
At
in June.
Mirror.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I hadn't even got to June yet. So yeah, so we also got one of Mirror 4 Lonely record release.
Hell yeah.
That's on June 19th.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So excited about that. Got a lot going on.
And then we also have Miss Leslie Benson of Morning Candle joining us.
Happy to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah. Good to see you too. Thanks for coming. You got any shows or releases you want to plug?
We're kicking off our first regional tour, also going to Ohio in late June, and then hitting Asheville and some other spots. So we just finished up our last Nashville show for the next few months.
Nice.
Awesome.
And then we also have Vicky and Jess are here as well. Thanks for coming. So yeah, with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into it. Sounds like we just got more people showing up now. I was telling everyone this earlier, but me and David have talked extensively about this already. We're going to hold off on anything we have to add until the end. I want everyone else to go first. Jess, I know you're pressed for time, so if you want to go ahead, you got the floor.
Yeah, and by the way, I apologize if you hear any squealing in the background. That would be my 4-month-old. But yeah, so I, like a true psychopath, because I have a baby right now, and I'm also reading another book club book, I decided to listen to this on 2 times the speed today on an audiobook. Which was a very interesting way to listen to this book because of it being kind of a monologue-y style. But I really enjoyed it because with it having it at 2 times the speed, and as the book goes along, it just sounds more manic and like, and just I don't know how to say intense, but there was a point when I was listening to it, I had my headphones on and I'm doing chores, and my husband came around the corner and I literally jumped out of my skin because I was so enthralled enthralled into the story because it was at the peak point when they get to the school and she's left in the car. So I was like really into listening to this. So it was a very interesting way to read the book, quote unquote, is to listen to it that fast. But I had said before we got on live that I watched the movie a couple years ago when it came out on Netflix. And I remember liking it, but not really understanding what was going on. And I feel like the book is a lot better. I feel like they could have executed the ending or how it turned into what it turned into a little bit better.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, if you're gonna have this like multiple personality breakdown, like I'm on the end of, on the verge of ending everything, it could have been done better.
Without the dance scenes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll and we'll talk more about the movie later.
Yeah. So a lot of that was like it gets to that point when, and also like the scene in the school could have, the whole like buildup of her like going on campus and walking through, that was a little disjointed as well in description. Like I am trying to find out how to like properly explain it, but when I'm like, I was in and out of what she was describing on what's going on, if that makes sense. Like they're talking about like walking around the locker room, the clothes are and then like they keep repeating about the dance, come to this dance, $10. Like, it was disjointed, which I understand. Yes, I hear you. Like it was like I get it's supposed to be disjointed because it's somebody's mental collapse. I don't know. I did not really like that whole part of it. It bothered me.
In the book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was hard to tell what's going on, which I guess is, a glimpse into like illness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
a little house
go ahead.
real quick. We have Raven joining us of Adiractic. Anything you want to plug real quick?
You guys have new releases, right?
Yeah, same thing I've been saying. I guess the for organs. I don't know.
On Bandcamp.
Bandcamp, yes.
Hell yeah, go stream that. Also, I know these lapels are annoying because they're wired, but if y'all are uncomfortable, feel free to bring that whole couch in if you need to. That way you can relax, lean back if you feel it necessary. That's an option. Yeah.
We don't need this middle to be anything. Do that, and I'll throw this closer.
Cool.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. There we go.
Right there.
Yeah, that way you don't have to like lean forward.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, whoever wants to go next.
Yeah, that part where they transition to the sort of inner monologue thing, it took me a minute I was reading that and he started referring to who was speaking as we, and yeah, it took a few pages to figure out what has happened to the story now. What are we talking about? But I mean, once he got into that part it was pretty clear about what was going on.
Yeah.
So
I was actually wondering about that because I did the audiobook
mhm.
and there's multiple voice actors in the audiobook.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing, Alex. Yeah, that helped.
Yeah. Yeah, it transitions into the into Jake at a certain point.
Okay.
So
who did book only? We're like
yeah, I just read it. Yeah.
So we're all talking about the same scene. The same where it switches over. In the audiobook, you have two separate voice actors that do that part. So it like in the middle of like that part, it transitions from a female voice to like a male
and it's
voice.
at one point it's layered, like they're both saying it, and then it becomes just him.
So the audiobook makes it a lot more clear.
Interesting.
Like, what's like happening.
But I was wondering about that if I had read it, how that would translate. But you're saying you were able to figure out what was going on.
Well, I mean, there's a portion later where he explicitly says that he didn't actually meet her, or that he talked to her, and then let's see, he said, let's see, yeah, it would have been nice to see her again, even just to talk, but he never did. He thought he might run into her. He hoped that that kind of chance existed. It might have been easier the second time that it might have progressed, but he didn't get that chance. It never happened. He had to make it happen. He had to think about her. Thoughts are real. He wrote about her, about them, us. And then let's see. Can't remember where. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it was okay. Yeah, he wanted to give it to her, or he wrote his number on a napkin. He wanted to give it to her. He couldn't. He couldn't do it. He didn't. So it's pretty clear at that point that the rest of it is all just in his head.
Okay, that makes sense.
A quick question for you, since you read the audiobook. I read the book in one sitting yesterday. In the audiobook, does it have interspersed in the story the crime scene depictions that kind of interrupt the story? Do you know what I'm talking about if you listen to the audiobook?
Like where they're interviewing the person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, like reading a book that was set up that way, because it almost reminded me of watching a TV series or a movie where
It took me a second to realize what they were doing, but then once I realized, yes, I agree. It was very much like you're like listening to a TV show without like seeing it. Yeah.
But that was a cool story. Yeah.
Yeah, it took me, I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? And then I realized like, oh, okay. It's like they're going through the crimes, going through the scene of things. So yeah, it was very interesting to have that.
Yeah.
That way. I will say with the audiobook, the part where they do the transition of where I'm thinking of anything, I'm thinking of anything like that repetitive, and it switches into the male voice. That was really cool.
That was sick.
That was really cool. Like director, whoever directed the audiobook, that was a really cool idea.
And I feel like it's even more sick if that was like your first version of seeing it. Because I did the movie first, then the audiobook, and then regular book. I did like all three. And like I feel like that still hit hard, but I feel like it would have hit harder like being in your shoes where you did audiobook first.
Raven, were you gonna say something?
I was, but I will go ahead and say what I was gonna say first, which is from the beginning, I felt like this was a man writing a woman, and it is literally a man writing a woman, but I felt like there was some like projection happening. And then at the end, when you find out it is actually just the guy imagining things and being mentally ill, like that actually surprised me, but it made sense.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. But you had like picked up pretty early on that she's like barely a character.
Like she's a woman, but what a man might think a woman would think, that's what she's.
And it's funny because it's also like it's what a man thinks of a woman and like the good aspects that he wants, but also like his insecurities at the same time or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
She's really interested in what he has to say.
Like his mansplaining.
Yeah.
She's also like, oh, I'm attracted to him. He's very smart and intelligent, and I love him. Also, I'm thinking of ending things. I don't. I like him. He's a good guy, but I don't know. I just don't. I just want to be alone. I don't like him, but I like him. Like that. Honestly, trying to read through the entire book like that and being like, oh, like, well, this is the woman character. I was frustrated by her, incredibly frustrated the whole time. Finding out that it was just the guy, like projecting the whole time, was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got insecurities, he's got problems, like, yeah.
I had no idea what was going on the whole time until like the last 20 pages.
Until that switch over.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, is this book just gonna end and like nothing's resolved? And it's like actually it tied up very neatly at the end.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna murder her at school. You know, that was kind of I like you. I wasn't. I didn't see it coming like until those last few pages.
Yeah.
Any preconceived notions of just reading the title of the book before you kind of dove in what you thought the story was going to be about?
It's suicide.
Yeah.
I thought I was the first page and I thought that she was going to kill him, but total twist. Total twist.
Oh, when I saw the movie, because like I said, I didn't read it first, but I figured it was some sort of about like suicide. But then I remember when I was watching the movie in the middle of it, I was like, so maybe she's gonna break up with him and do that? Like she's like, trying to cope with the fact of like ending everything, not just like ending herself, like, okay, I have to end all my relationships too. And so it was interesting on that. And like what Raven was saying about the character, I feel like, it is it's a man, because we know he's a mental illness being a woman, and it is a man writing a woman. But I think the whole point is she's supposed to be kind of be neurotic and insufferable.
And
Because
also,
of the
like she's like his fantasy of like what would have happened and like the ideal, and she's like still breaking up with him. You know,
right?
like,
Exactly. It's his fantasy of it's his fantasy of what this girl would be.
Yeah, even in his wildest dreams, she like
still gets broken up with.
Like he's great, but I'm good.
But it's a very like, if you think about it, it's his internal monologue possibly of what he thinks like women or people he dates thinks about him, because like she was saying, like she talks about his pigeon-toed walk, his stooped shoulders, but his messy hair, but it kind of makes him cute. Like he is really smart, so that does make him attractive in that way. It's like it's those things that like even in yourself, like maybe when you're dating, like first dating somebody, and you think like, oh, I wonder if they notice this about me and that, and you think of like all the negative things. Like it's almost like, the reason why he didn't talk to her at the trivia night is because he knows all these things about himself, and that maybe that's what she would see and then want to leave him anyways once she saw all these things.
Right, because it's like even if he behaved differently, like even if he was the best version of himself, like it's still like he still would have ended it,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like even before he spoke to her, he was already playing this fantasy in his head of it not working anyways.
So can we talk about phone calls?
Oh no, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so is it like his subconscious that's like trying to break through? Like, what are they?
What is I can't remember her name. Oh, she doesn't have a name.
She doesn't have a name.
That's why I can't remember.
That's the point.
Like it keeps changing.
Yeah. Are you asking what she is? Like
like the phone calls, because like the call is coming from inside the house, like
the phone calls are her own phone number, and it's a high-pitched man speaking like a woman.
Yes, leaving messages, like the same messages all the time on her dead phone.
Like it is his subconscious, because like it keeps talking about the one question and everything like that, and he does say what the one question is at the end of it.
Yeah, because it's like suicidal, like what is it called? Ideation or like
continue or end it is the one question that he says.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. The one question, he does like introduce a couple other questions that he repeats a few times. I noticed like he asks, "Are you bad or good?" And then there's a part where he says, there's like 3 pages in the book where it's just the sentence, "What are you waiting for?" right before he ends it. And then the other question that he brought up that I thought was interesting is, what if death is not an escape? He was referring to, what if the maggots eating the pig or whatever continue on after death, continue feeding after death? So I know the question was go on or not, but there's these other lingering questions around that I thought were really interesting. What were your thoughts on that?
Well, back to the pig. It's like the pig looks alive but is dead. Like no one knew that it was dead because it was just like chilling there, but being eaten from the inside out, which also kind of represents like this guy.
That's cool. I didn't think about that. It's yeah.
It's already in the process. He's already in the process of rot.
Well, it's kind of in that like in between state. Like, yeah, that's really cool. I didn't think about that.
Because I'm assuming when a pig gets that bad, the only choice you have is to like.
Yeah, it's like basically dead, but it's also alive in a really miserable way.
So your choices are either kill it or let it live miserably or whatever.
Wow, what a fucking nihilistic worldview.
But there's also something interesting about the question that keeps being repeated. There's this philosopher Albert Camus. We did book The Stranger, right? His next most famous work, other than The Stranger, is a book called The Myth of Sisyphus, which is like the story of like a Greek story of a guy who rolls up a rock or whatever. And the whole point of his second book is that like the most important question is you keep rolling the rock or you kill yourself.
You must imagine Sisyphus as being happy.
Yeah. But that's assuming that you're not currently a pig that's rotting away already. What if you are that pig that's rotting?
What if?
I mean, I'm assuming that we're not all old enough to where that's us, but there's also an aspect of the book and of like mental illness, like because he's clearly mentally ill, right? And he's like getting worse and worse.
I have a lot of things I want to address about what you're saying, but I'm gonna hold off on that. What do y'all think about that?
I think that there's an idea of like him being like too far gone, which is what you're
the rotting pig.
The rotting pig. I mean, what are you gonna do about the maggots? Can't do anything about it, and that's very, very nihilistic. But if you look at it, he doesn't really have. I mean, he has his parents, but his parents are also kind of.
I mean, at this point, they're gone.
Yeah, at this point, they are gone. Well, in his head, he has his parents, but he doesn't have a support system, which only furthers the dissent. So, what can he do about that at that point? And it's incredibly sad, but
it's so fucked up. The whole thing is just like very depressing.
Yeah. Well, they also had, remember, there was also outside the barn, there were the two lambs that were dead and frozen. So he's basically got like, and he was saying that they looked like they could have been alive just asleep. So he's got, the pigs, which are alive and being, close to death, being eaten, even though they look like they're alive, they're pretty much, on the way out. And then you've got the lambs that look like they could be alive, but they are already dead. Just all these, a couple of symbols of things being too far gone to do anything about.
Yeah.
But looking sort of like it's just sort of continuing on the outside. Like the pigs looked like they were just kind of hanging out, but they're going through this terrible experience.
That's interesting. Mention symbols just real quick. I was going to say there's a part in the book where he says symbols are as important to our understanding of life as math and science. So it's like I think that's like a meta thing. Like, hey, reader, pay attention to the symbols here.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of that in this book. There's just like self-referential, like even to the end where it's like, what's these pages that's beside him, and it's the book.
Yeah.
Because Alex, you made this point when you were reading it before you even finished it, that you noticed there's like this big focus on perspective.
Yes. I'm going to hold off on all that for now. We will get to all of that. I promise. I have a question for everyone, but I don't want to derail. Does anyone else have any comments? Okay. In no particular order, whoever wants to go first. Does this book have a message? And if so, what is it?
I have a thought about the message, and it's kind of what we were talking about. If you're already too far gone, then you better make your choice. You either continue on or you end it. You end the suffering. Which it kind of seems like in that situation there is only one choice, and I feel like it's really a bad message, but it feels like that's the message. Like,
And
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty accurate. That once you get to, it's so bad now. It's like, all right, do you just keep spiraling or do you just turn off the light like and be done?
But like to that point, like in his head, even if he'd done something different, he still would have gone there. So like, you know what I mean? So like no matter what you do, you're still there, right? Because like
Yeah, but that's because he's messed up though.
and he's still there. They're still at the school, you know?
he's messed up. He's isolating himself. He's already like he's been doing this for his entire life. He has issues and he has no support system, so there is no way he can get out of the spiral.
He is such a miserable person. Like it sucks to be him. Like it's just like so much of his conversation in the car with her. I would say on the way to his parents' house, but particularly on the way back, is just so everything he says is just incorrect. Like he's so he keeps saying all these really nihilistic and just like well, I know God's not real because I'm a physicist. And it's like I don't know any physicist that talks like this. This is why you're not a fucking physicist and you're a fucking janitor.
He also says a lot of like he's using a lot of pretentious language to seem intellectual, like more like smarter than he is. Just like
he thinks he's so much better than everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think because he always wanted to be that person, but he never was. He was a janitor with mental health issues.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, because he never took the risk to do it though.
He never left. Yeah, he never left his position that he's in. And, maybe he always thought highly of himself inside his head, but outside he never really did anything about it. Because he talks about the personality, about how, Jake's quiet. He keeps to himself, blah, blah, blah. Like, so it's, it's the what if. It's that, like, everybody has that what if. Well, what if I had said yes to that job or said no to this person or that? Like, where would I be?
And he probably failed out of the lab, right? Like that is probably part of the storyline.
Yeah.
What actually happened.
Yeah, but could it be argued that part of his failing was like that he wasn't social? That he thinks he can succeed in life just through pure intelligence, which is never ever true.
That's certainly a big part of
because
you can never succeed in life through just that. You have to be social on top of intelligent.
Yeah, you could be right because you think about it when they're like whoever's there like investigating or finds the body or whatever it is. They talk about like he, was antisocial. He had no this, he had no that. So it could be, talking about like he's thinking, well, if I was social, where would I be instead of being where he's at?
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I was going to say one of the things I picked up on in this book is that it's about the juxtaposition between loneliness and solitude and that element of being social. He references several times how the story about the girl doing her driving test, and at the end there's like a hint that she kisses the driver, which is not actually what happens, but he basically says a kiss takes two people. There's another line that says sadness requires happiness. And then there's another line that I remember, it's when we choose to bring the end closer, we create a new beginning. But all those things, kind of thinking about them in my head, it just feels like he was very alone. And so somewhere in the book, he says, he refers to his parents who have passed and some of the other people in his life that are no longer there. And he says, you're all here with us. I believe that actually might be a line from the movie, but I might be mistaking. But it's just like he keeps everyone with him in his mind. That's where he is social, but he's so solitary in his own life that the solitude, it just doesn't sustain itself forever until it does. And he makes that final decision to end it all. What did you think about that?
To me, I think everything you just said is true. And I think if the book has a positive message, it's like we're not all, I'm assuming we're not all fucking 80 or whatever. We still have like a lot of life. And like we're people that are actually actively, because a lot of us are like in the music scene, right? We're actively making connections and making community and doing stuff. But there's a version of us that never did that. I think there are a lot of like people that just go to work, go home, just watch TV or social media, but not even social media with other, just social media like reels or just whatever. And then they never like actually truly talk to other people. And then they just do that over and over and over. And it's like a repeated loop that they're going to live for like the rest of their lives.
I think keyword to what you just said is if there's a message. It could be that. That's what I got away from it is I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not this guy. Right. It's like, okay, I feel very fortunate that I'm not on this trajectory. Right. But it is not clear to me that that was the author's intention. I think that's more of a statement about you or about me than it is about what the author was trying to convey. What do y'all think about that?
Well, real quick, just to kind of what David's saying is it's interesting. He says, like, there's a lot of people that just go to work, come home, sit in their house, sit on their phone or do whatever, but have no social life. And, you need the social. What popped in my head immediately is especially the high suicide rate in men in like Japan and China because of exactly that. They have no social skill. They go to work, they come home, they play video games, they live in a tiny solitaire apartment by themselves. Then they become increasingly depressed because that's all their cycle is. There's no social skill. And then they end up sadly killing themselves. And so it makes me think of like, yes, he's also got multiple mental illness, but that cycle of loneliness can do that to a person when you don't have, and that could be maybe another message that's showing like, don't keep to yourself because then, you end up with a bleak outcome in life.
Reach out to people.
Sense? Yeah.
Take the risk.
Yeah, there's one other thing I remembered from the book. There was a part where he talks about how happiness and fulfillment rely on the presence of others. So I think that kind of speaks to what you just said. In the narrator, whoever said that in the book, is saying, to be truly happy and fulfilled in life, perhaps you need the presence of others in some way. I don't know if that was the author's intention either, but I think that's something that I took away from it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale, right? It's like, don't end up like this guy.
But also reach out to people if you see them like being solitary. Maybe if somebody had invited him to something or like tried to like make him part of some social group, maybe he would have gotten out of some of that stuff.
Yeah.
It seemed like people just like all the commentary, throughout, it seems like they just, everybody kind of ignored him and just like left him to his own devices. And I think that was part of the problem too. So I don't think it was just the mental illness. It was the fact that he got ignored by everybody as well.
It's kind of a symptom of society kind of thing.
And like going on with what you're saying, there's this portion of like what is it? I know in the book it's different from the movie, but it's the ice cream place. Because in the
in the book it's a Dairy Queen. In the movie it's a different IP.
But the point of me bringing that up is like he notices there's a girl who's clearly being bullied.
Oh God, that part is so fucked up.
But he never reaches out to her.
Yeah.
So he does the same thing.
He relates to her.
Oh fuck.
He relates to her, but he never reaches out to her.
Oh wow. Okay.
But imagine if like he actually took the risk of reaching out to her. She could be an anchor that keeps him from killing himself. Because now there's a younger person who looks up to me, but he never does that risk. He never does it. No one reaches out to him, but he's also not doing the same for other people. And I'm assuming that's not even the only girl that's happened to. He's going to this high school for so many years, and he's never reached out to people.
I didn't think about that. That's interesting. It's like he's doing the thing that everyone else is doing.
Yeah, which is also another cautionary tale. If you're like an older person and you see younger people that are struggling, and especially if they're struggling in ways you have, it's your responsibility to reach out to them. There are a lot of people who had very bad childhoods. Like think of like the idea of a Disney adult where they like instead of what they do is I had a bad childhood, so now I have to be a Disney adult and live my childhood instead of like, no, I had a bad childhood. I don't want the next generation to have that. I should give them avenues to have that. But so many people are just focused on, I just want to give it to myself.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's
and they do it in fantasy, which is like stupid.
that part in the story is interesting because the girl actually tells him, she's like, I'm worried about, or she tells the girl, the female narrator who is at the window ordering, she says, I'm worried for you. I'm scared for you, talking about Jake in the story, but it's actually, she's talking to him, which is interesting. And in the movie, which is a little bit different, that girl that's being bullied tells Jake, or actually the narrator, I think at that point, she says, you can stay here. You can stay in this moment, right? So I was curious about that. That was something that I noticed that I was a little confused about, like as if time, wasn't linear and he could just stay in that memory maybe.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder why they added that in. That's like kind of a big difference.
Yeah. There's kind of a thing. One of the more compelling things about the book for me is the idea of like a thought form having an existential experience. So like, what would it be like to be an imaginary figure, like a figment of someone's imagination? And that, like, the horror aspect of that, because like none of that is real. So as a thought form, she can like hypothetically stay right there in that place. But also there's the whole thing where he's chasing her through the school, and then he does like kind of kill her because she doesn't exist, and they merge. So it's like, and there's like a dread, like she's scared for her life even though she doesn't exist, right? So I thought that was really interesting, the idea of like being someone's imaginary friend and what that would be like, especially in such like a demented mind.
Yeah. And that if the minute they quit thinking about you, you cease to exist.
Yeah.
And
then when she
Sorry to
realized,
interrupt. I gotta go put the small one to sleep, so I will be hopping off.
totally understandable. Thanks for joining, Jess. We
Yeah,
love
thank you. I hopefully will be able to get on to the next one. So
Yeah, we're doing Dune Messiah next month.
Thanks for your input. You
is
should
that
recommend
Will's doing? I'm assuming.
Yeah, Dune in June is now a thing we're doing. We're doing every.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I will see if I can join for that. So I will
Hell yeah.
talk to all y'all soon.
See ya.
Bye.
The second one, Dune Messiah.
Yeah,
Where's
that's the
that
second
going?
one.
God Emperor's
Yeah,
third.
Messiah is the second one.
Yeah, that's the second one.
Actually, my favorite in the series. But that's for a different conversation. Anyone else have any thoughts about like what this book was about?
I mean, you can go first.
I was gonna say, it feels like it's. So I kind of want to talk about how I feel about the author, like just reading this. It feels like the author is just this is his thoughts, like actually his thoughts. Like he feels this way genuinely, but he also maybe could have gotten better. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is just his artistic expression of how he feels in real life.
I feel the same way. And Ian Reed was actually like in his early 30s when he wrote this. So he's like already got this like super pessimistic worldview, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
There's a lot of his own monologue put into this. In fact, when we were talking about the female character being an invention of like a man's perception of women, I mean, it's like literally that, because it's a male author, right? So it's like, I mean, I got to give him some credit that he did that intentionally, right? He wrote a female character that is very two-dimensional, but like also that is the character he wrote. So how intentional is that?
Okay, I have a thought. who brought up Japan and China having problems with like suicide?
That
and
was
stuff?
Jess.
Okay, that was
Jess.
Jess. So she's gone now. Another example is like Korea. And the reason I'm bringing up these examples is I think what this guy is pointing out is a problem that's going to get even worse in the future. I'm going to bring up Japan as an example because I like a lot of Japanese media. One of the most popular forms of Japanese media, especially for men, is isekai and harem. It's like these are genres where like the main character is so generic. The whole point is a Japanese man can insert himself into these characters, and all the females in this genre are just revolved around the main character. They're just focused on him. And I'm worried about a future where like imagine a future where AI gets so good where men can just take women in the real life and just force them to be whatever imaginary thing they want them to be. Like you take a photo of a woman that you're obsessed with in real life and you tell AI, make this into my wife, and then you interact with that and you live in this fantasy world. I feel like in the future, there are going to be a lot of lonely men that do this, but not in this mentally ill thing, or it will be mentally ill. Doing this will make you mentally ill. It will make a lot of more people mentally ill just by doing this thing.
Well, I mean, you say imagine a world, but it is a thing that people do because they are mentally ill, and AI has gotten that good, kind of.
But it's going to get better and worse.
Yeah. But even if it isn't that good, they're still gonna like try to live through that instead of like they're gonna be in their room just doing that instead of actually interacting with these people and like try to make a connection.
Yeah.
Well, that's happened. There have been, I was reading some article about there are a number of cases of people who basically have gone into psychosis that was basically out of that, no history of anything close to that level of mental illness, but basically through interacting with Chat GPT or something like that, it made them completely lose touch with reality. And I was reading something about this guy who got convinced by Chat GPT that there was like either aliens in the desert or he had some sort of destiny that he had to pursue. So he just went out and was wandering around. I think someone eventually found him, but he almost died through this whole thing. But it had convinced him to that he was on some sort of
like he's
esoteric quest,
like he's Neo or he's the protagonist.
Exactly, yeah. That he had to go do all this stuff, and that's not the only case of that.
Yeah, there's also I think it was a teenage boy. Who like was interacting with Daenerys Targaryen
from Game of Thrones. Yeah, I remember that.
And like since the AI is very like all affirming, kind of like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. It's like he was like, oh, I can end everything and like come live with you, and then she's like, yes, my love, please do it, and so he ended himself. So
yeah, it really like aggregates mental illness for sure.
Yeah, this is a very good discussion to be having this month, just because May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So.
Oh, I didn't realize that. That's cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Leslie.
Oh no, that's all I was going to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts about what this book means? Like what the authors intended? Does the author have a message? Not all books have a message. Does this book have a message? If so, what was the author trying to convey? Any more thoughts about that?
I don't know. It just seemed very bleak and just kind of an exploration of what it would be like to be somebody like this.
Okay.
I mean,
character perspective.
Yeah. I don't know. I read the whole thing today, so I'm still mulling on it.
I mean, my last note is I might be reaching, but I think it's a cautionary tale. Don't be like this guy. You're not this old. You're not this fucked up in your head. You still have the chance to not become that. Actually reach out to people, not just for your own sake, even for other people. If you see people that are lonely and being bullied, reach out to them. Actually show them that interacting with people is good, and like push people away from all this AI shit, like fantasy.
So I had the same takeaway that you did, but can you see an alternate takeaway where I think that's a reflection of you're an optimistic person. you're not pessimistic about life. So at least at this point in your life, right? Like I've been in, I can imagine me either in the past in worse places or like in an alternate future where my life didn't go so well, where I would have gotten a completely different takeaway from the book. Does that make sense? Or do you think, I guess what I'm asking you is, do you think that is your takeaway, or do you think that was the author's intent?
I think that was the author's intent.
Okay. Can you elaborate?
I think that was the author's intent to like show a cautionary tale.
What
However,
makes you say that?
the only thing that I can say is like, because that's what I took from it. I'm a
Okay.
human being who took it from that. I've shown it to someone else with no context. They took that away from it. But I can also say, once again, I mean, anyone can take it different ways. But I also think that the person who takes it in the worst possible aspect of it or whatever, the worst possible way, and the message they get is kill yourself, they're already Jake and it's already too late anyways.
I mean, I disagree with that notion entirely. I don't, and this is almost almost like a, it's like a borderline religious
Yeah, it's
perspective.
It's great.
But I think there is always a path to redemption, regardless of who you are, what your circumstances are.
I think that's
I don't like this idea that you made so many wrong decisions that it's now too late to give your life meaning or purpose.
I think that's true. And I think that's true until the point.
It feels very white collar. Like I don't like
no.
janitors. Janitors are beneath me.
No. Here's what I'm going to say. I think that's true up until a point. I think okay, first thing we have to establish, Jake is mentally ill. His mom was mentally ill, and he has that in his bloodline. Like he's like his brain is actually like messed up right now, and it's like getting worse and worse. His mom grew up to be so old and so fucked up that she had no more agency. The main character chooses to kill himself before he loses all his agency. And it's the first time in his life he actually takes agency. I'm not against you.
Mom have no agency.
Well, once she got so old to the point where there's a point where like your Alzheimer's and your like mental illness can get
Was
so
that
bad.
in the book?
Yeah,
'Cause-
did that happen?
Pulling at her hair and things like that.
Okay, that was in the
Yeah.
book.
Pulling out her hair was a reflection of him. Like that was his own thing that was projected onto the characters. Like her being lactose intolerant, the rash that the Dairy Queen girl had, and the hair pulling out was in the journal where like he pulled out his hair and that became projected onto his mom. So like all the characters had his characteristics. So like
he's such an unreliable narrator though, that like he says that his mom was pulling out her hair, and he says, "Oh, my brother is mentally ill." And
But he's talking about himself.
He was talking about himself
because he doesn't have a brother.
So if there's a potential that she could have also had the same thing as well. But we don't know because he's an unreliable narrator.
Okay, but at the very least, we can say that with his case, he is like in that path already.
Yes. Right.
Can we step back really quick to a beginning part of the book? The narrator is talking about when she was young, she saw a person at the window when she was a child staring at her. I thought that was like the first really creepy moment in the book that stood out to me. Do you think that was also kind of that subconscious peeking through? Like, is that like maybe one of the other personalities peeking through her, or what was your kind of take on that part?
I'm trying to come up with a take on it right now, because when I was actually reading the book, that never comes up again. And I'm trying to see if that was like, I'm trying to think maybe it was like,
I always tied that back to like his shape in the window of the school. In my head, I was like, oh, him in her window, like when she was younger, and then also him in the window watching them in the school. That was like where my head went.
Yep, because it makes that kind of feeling makes an appearance when they're in the car, I believe, like starting to get physical, and then he gets angry because he sees somebody in the school he thinks is watching them, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
that part was really that was brutal. That was such a uncomfortable when they're outside the school. Yeah, that was rough. Um, yeah, I also agree. I think that the man she sees is Jake.
Yeah.
Um, like the true version of him. That's also who's calling on the phone. Right? It's like windows into reality. Um, instead of like looking into fiction, it's like a piece of fiction looking into reality.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a win.
Yeah.
But going back to the thing I said earlier, I think that's going to become the reality to a lot of like men in the future, especially in like newer generations.
Well,
where,
Ravens
like,
point, it already is.
yeah,
We're already there.
if there are so many guys that are just going home and just watching media or playing video games, the majority of the stuff that it takes up in their head is just media. It's just going to become false memories. That's the only thing they can look back to. Like if you're an old person and all you've done is consume media, you never made actual memories and connections, that's all you can ever pull back from.
Did you all feel like, sorry, this is outside the message of the book, but did you all feel like some of the situations that they were describing until you get to the, turning point at the end where you realize that none of these people exist, like all of the social situations a lot of them felt very real to me. Like the situation with the parents, like I was there and like felt so awkward reading it, but it felt like very real. Like, have you ever been to like a significant other's house and their parents are weird? Like I've been in that situation. It felt like that to me. Like it took me back to some of those moments. And yeah, I don't know. It was just like an interesting commentary on like, yeah, I don't know. You can just find yourself in very odd social situations sometimes. And like, I don't know, that didn't feel imaginary to me. A lot of that felt very real.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was waiting for someone to touch on that. So my takeaway, I think there's two messages to the book. I guess I should preface this by saying like, this is my opinion. I'm prone to like conspiracy thinking, right? So I'm actually really interested to know what all you think about this. But yeah, I'm just kidding, something like that, right? I think the author is malicious. I think he's not well intentioned. I think he's Canadian.
Are those related?
Yeah. So my takeaway from reading it is this is a cautionary tale. I'm glad I'm not this guy. Don't be like this guy, right? But I think that is more because of where I'm at this point in my life. I think intent, there's two messages, and that's break up with your boyfriend. And if you're a dude, kill yourself.
I disagree with that. But
I think it's like the movie more so.
Okay, before I disagree with Alex, is there anybody else who disagrees with Alex? I want to hear from you guys first.
I don't necessarily like I don't disagree with the if you're a man, kill yourself one. I might disagree with the women should break up with their boyfriends one. And the reason why is because she's not real. She's a figment of his imagination, right? And he is projecting his insecurities onto like this is what he thinks a woman would think of him, kind of thing. But the end of it is so like what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? Like if you were a man who is already like down and you're reading this, like, well, first of all, you don't need to read this when you're in that state of mind, because you might get that message from it and you might actually.
Even if you're younger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess just to push back on what you're saying a little bit, like that totally makes sense in retrospect, like after you've read it and you know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But I would say early on, like the first half of the book, there is a lot of commentary about relationships.
Yeah.
And she's willfully going into this situation that's super uncomfortable. And she's even asking herself, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm going to meet his parents and like, I know we're not going to last. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
And it's like, she feels trapped. more so as like they get further away from home, and it's like she's stuck in this miserable cycle, and she knows she needs to move on. So I mean, like, I also like, yes, she should. That guy sucks. He's the fucking worst. Like, he's such a miserable person to be around. Like, yeah, she should leave him. And then also, but I mean, it's easy to also like, yeah, if you're that guy, you should kill yourself. It's easy to get there, right?
But also, like, you know what? Now that you have said that, um, it's the same thing that I said about that. If you're already in that mental state as a man reading this, well, you shouldn't read it because you might actually get that from it. If you're a woman that's already thinking stuff like that, you also shouldn't read this book.
So you don't think that's necessarily what the author intended?
Not necessarily, but
Okay.
I think that you could get that message from it if you're already of that opinion.
I
got you.
will also say, I also think that he intended for you to read the story twice.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty short, and there's a lot of reread value to it.
And
Yeah.
the fact that there's a movie even gives you an opportunity to do that.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense.
Because when you do it the second time, now you interpret things differently.
I don't know that you're. I don't know that just him describing this situation is necessarily advocating.
Okay.
I mean, not as I mean, I took, after I got done with, and as we're talking about it now too, I think all of her discussion or all of the female characters, waffling and, oh, I want to be out of this and this is uncomfortable and why am I here? I think that's his insecurity speaking of he's thinking this is what, I never, made the leap to give her my number or speak to her or anyone really. And I think it's kind of, it's his insecurity saying, well, even if I had, this is what would have happened.
But he doesn't know.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
But it's sort of the self-defeating insecurity. It's like, well, I didn't give her my number, didn't speak to her, but it would have all gone down the tubes anyway, and she wouldn't have wanted to stick around.
I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense having read the whole thing. I was picking up on like commentary about relationships in general in the first half, but maybe I'm reading into it too much.
I think like their relationship is his will to live. After you finish like reading it at the very end, I think like she represents the last little part of his brain that's like their relationship is kind of what's keeping him alive, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. There is a lot of commentary on relationships in this book. There was one part that I usually take notes like for things that stand out to me. And I wrote this down in the book. He says, maybe that's how we know a relationship is real, when someone previously unconnected to us knows us in a way never thought or believed possible. And even if it's not a real person, maybe it's in his own mind. Maybe he finally figured himself out and all those different parts of his psyche, his personality merged into one. And he was finally that one being, and he couldn't deal with that. I'm not sure. Yeah. It's very self-loathing story in a way, but in a way, I also think that the writer might be toying with, not toying with the reader, that's not the right way to say it, but he's like experimenting with the way that he's writing. There's a lot of things about the way that he's writing that I haven't seen before in a book. There's only 4 settings in the book. There's not a whole lot that actually happens in the book. And a lot of it is based in psychology. So maybe he's, I wonder what his process was like when he set out to write this, really. It'd be interesting to read more about the author.
That would be interesting.
So branching off what she just said, here's something interesting. So you just mentioned that like at the very end, what she is and what he is and all these different aspects, they like all branch into like one. So we mentioned earlier AI and all that stuff or whatever. AI is like literally a mirror. It's like you mentioned, it's like it affirms too much. It just affirms whatever you're pumping into it and says, yes, that's the correct thing.
Aggregates whatever crazy shit you're on.
You're saying, So the ending of this book is almost him realizing this whole time, this fantasy has just been a mirror. Now, for the first time, I'm becoming myself truly, and I'm choosing to do something about it.
Sort of like the book is a mirror for the author, maybe like he's working through some stuff.
Yeah, and in doing so, the author and what he's trying to say to you, the reader, is you need to stop living in these fantasies and just truly make choices for yourself. Don't just live in these fantasies. Truly make a choice for yourself. That doesn't necessarily mean suicide, especially if you're a lot younger or whatever, but at least like make that choice.
Okay. So I think so far, unless I'm missing something, kind of the consensus we've come to is some of us think that it's a cautionary tale. Don't be like this guy. There's some of us that think there is no meaning and you kind of extrapolate whatever you want from it. And then I have like I think he's like ill-intended.
He's malicious.
Right. Okay. But that's kind of, did we cover kind of all the takeaways from it? Okay. Want to talk about the movie? Or go ahead. Yeah.
Can we talk about the pacing a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like halfway through the book is when they get to the actual farmhouse. They're in the car for the whole first part of that. And yeah, that was a little
agonizing.
Yes. And so now we can talk about the movie because I feel like it fixed the pacing.
Oh, did you watch the movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What did you think?
I liked it better. I felt more uncomfortable until the end part. And the end part, I was like, this is a little silly. It's a little goofy. I think that they should have depicted what actually happened.
Yeah. I felt the same way. I thought the movie started out so strong, like the car ride, brilliant. Yeah, all the way through the dinner with the parents. And then like, as the movie goes on, it's okay. So like the book, it's very like, what's going on? I'm trying to figure it out. And it all snaps into place at the end. The movie's the opposite. It's very, everything is said. Everything you need to know about this story is said in the car ride at the very beginning. You have a clear understanding of what's going on from the very beginning and what it's about. And then as it progresses, it abstracts and continues to abstract until we get into like interpretive dance scenes.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I have no idea what the fuck. I thought this had a meaning and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that movie started out so strong and then just ended so badly.
Yeah, I didn't understand the musical thing that was going on. It was kind of like, can we, like, this does not actually portray what the end of the book portrays, because it actually still portrays Jake and the woman as two separate people. Like, it still kind of does that, because you see like he's old and she's old in the audience, but I don't think you would understand what's happening unless you read the book.
Yeah, I don't think anything is being said. And this is a problem I have with like the deconstruction of like archetypes and storytelling, is when you do that, and I understand the angsty rage against archetypes and traditional storytelling
or being meta.
I understand why you would do that. I went through that phase too, right? But it's like, the problem with that is you literally, it's impossible for you to actually say anything at that point. So what ends up happening is it's like, oh, you didn't understand the ending? Well, you just don't get it. It's like, you don't get it. There's nothing to be said here. This is a mirror. It's very narcissistic, where it's like, it's what you make of it. Okay, so it's nothing. It's a mirror. It's like you can make anything out of this because there's nothing there.
So
right?
it's like how Lost ended, if you ever watched
Yeah,
that TV
yes,
show.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
It's like,
still
oh, it's
mad
what you
about
make
that.
of it. It's like, that's bad writing. That's lazy.
I still like
I still like
the
it.
weird animated pig. I liked that.
That part was super good.
Yeah, well,
It did look
was
cool.
just it's not just that it looked cool, it's that like the oscillations in the background. That was like I was like, I'm freaked out right now. I feel uneasy. And that's what I wanted from the ending. And then it goes into the interpretive dance stuff.
Okay,
I'm like, that's weird.
Before I say my piece, Leslie or Vicky, do you guys have, what did you guys think of the movie? Have you guys watched it or not?
Yeah. I watched it right after I read the book yesterday. Thank goodness, because the book was so much better. The movie was terrible, in my opinion. I thought the book did a much better job of setting the stage for the creepiness of the whole thing. It talks about the details a lot more. Obviously, you can do that more in books, especially with the parents and like the basement. The book goes in much more detail about how just weird and awkward that situation was. I felt like in the movie, I kind of liked the parents more. They weren't as creepy to me. It was kind of like a normal everyday. Maybe my family's just weird. I don't know, but they didn't seem that weird to me. And then in the book actually goes into more depth about all the photos on the wall, about the narrator noticing that like every single photo on the wall looks familiar, or like, is that me or is that him? What? But like the movie only touches on that for 2 seconds and then it's over. And the ending, obviously, with the song and dance was pretty awful. So that's just my 2 cents. But yeah,
Did you watch it, Vicky? Did you do the movie?
I didn't see the movie.
Okay.
I don't think I'm gonna now.
Okay, no, you should still watch it.
You should still watch it because
Can I
the
divert?
beginning's pretty.
Can I divert back to the book for a second? Sorry, we didn't talk about the basement before.
Oh, yeah, and
did
the trap
did his
door.
parents like lock him in the basement, or he locked himself in the basement?
I think he locked himself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because the lock was on the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's his way to escape from his parents because they didn't understand his like art stuff or whatever.
And he painted like the same thing over and over.
And
That was creepy.
even the critique of his parents of art or her art is like a critique of his art.
Mhm.
But anyways, I'm gonna do a defense of the dance sequences. It's not gonna be a good defense, but at least it's some defense, okay? It's like this. So something about this director is that he likes to do these like meta scenes in a lot of his movies. These meta scenes where like the whole point of it is like the reason it was other people doing the dances is not the characters we've seen so far, is because you want to see the characters looking within the characters, and it's like Jake looking at the characters. And I mean, admittedly, it is bullshit because it gets too meta at that point, but that's the whole point he was just trying to make, that like this guy has lived in his fantasy so far that it's like meta within meta within meta, to the point where you're so abstracted from reality that everything is fucked up.
You know, I kind of understood the one where it's the two, like the woman and the man, they're dancing, whatever. I understood that.
But the
But
singing part,
it's the singing one.
yes, I knew the singing part. Yeah,
The singing one was just
it's a step too far. Yeah.
too silly.
Well, that's okay. Do you know what that the singing was from?
Is it supposed to be from Oklahoma, or is it?
Yeah,
what?
Oklahoma. It's a scene from Oklahoma, and it's like describing like a life that he's living, and maybe you could even interpret it as like maybe he wishes he played that role in Oklahoma, but he never got to play that role, because a lot of the art that he's like doing is a copy of other people's art. He never got to make his own, but that's it. But even saying all that, it's still garbage. I'll admit it. It's still garbage.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's, you know what? It adds to the pretentiousness.
Yeah.
I will say that.
It's the thing that all of the modern film does right now, where it's said nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing, and it's because they hate life and they hate people and they hate relationships,
yes, but also,
and they hate love
but
and
also
everything that's good.
They can't just depict this person killing themselves. They can't just do that,
Yeah.
right?
And Alex,
Yeah, what the
It's
fuck
Netflix.
happened at the end of that
It's
movie?
Netflix, by the
Alex,
way.
my defense is he was trying to make a statement. He just sucked at making that statement, but he was trying to make a statement.
I disagree. So, Leslie?
He did
Yeah.
suck at it.
Yeah, so spoiler. Anyone who hasn't watched the movie, the ending is different than the book.
Yeah.
Like other than the dance sequence, there's also the ending.
Sounds like a little bit.
And I didn't really. I don't know why they did, but
To me, it was incredibly disappointing because it started out so strong. The acting was so good.
Oh, the acting is brilliant.
The dialogue was so good. And then it just tapered off about halfway through. And that's why it frustrated me because I'm like, oh my God, this was amazing until it wasn't, you know? Like I really wanted it to go somewhere and I was just so disappointed. Whereas like if it hadn't started out that strong, I would have just kind of been like, meh. But it was like upsetting to me because their whole car sequence getting to the house, just 10 out of 10 cinema. It's brilliant.
I feel like the book reads like a movie almost. Like they all were set up for success. It's so hard to take a book and make it into a movie under most circumstances. But like I feel like this one almost read like one.
Yeah,
And then
it was already
the
like
fact
a
that they
script.
didn't do that justice. I mean, I haven't seen it, but now
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
No, you still should. You
I
still
Watch
should.
the
I can't-
first half and don't watch the rest.
I can't recommend it to you, but I am very interested to know what you think
You still
about
have to,
it.
you still have to
Okay.
watch it. I promise.
All right, we'll try to
Also,
watch it.
my last point about the movie: the actors are so good. You will never know that both of the main actors are actually Irish.
Yeah, like thick accent.
No, thick accent Irish. You'll never know that because they were acting that well.
They were crushing
Yeah.
it.
No,
So good.
the whole movie, like for the car scene, felt just as long as in the book, but it wasn't because it was just so like drawn out. And when they finally got to the farmhouse, I felt like the interaction with the parents was very, very uncomfortable, and I was like, "What is happening right now? I don't like this."
But it was like subtle
Like,
at the same time.
Yeah, and here's the way I consumed both of these. I read the first half of the book, and then I was like, I'm gonna take a breather. Wait a minute, there's a movie. So I watched the part of the movie until the parts of the movie until it gets to like where I'm at in the book, and then I keep going back and forth because I was getting so drained reading this and watching it. By the time I was done with everything, I was just like,
I'm thinking of ending things.
That's funny because I had such the opposite reaction. I just flew through the book. I felt like it just went really fast for me, and I feel like I'm such a slow reader.
yeah.
But I don't know. I like books and movies that are just like social commentaries. So it's just like that's just my jam.
I did enjoy the book. I felt it made me feel like gross. Like I don't trust this guy. I don't trust this author. I don't know. I don't. And that's probably a crazy me thing because like
You're naturally suspicious.
I'm naturally suspicious.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So I mean, okay. I was wondering this whole time after reading it, what is everyone else going to think about that? And
The weird thing is, it's actually a mixture of all different like.
yeah, there's not like a singular takeaway. We have like a very like mixed opinions about this. I will say this was a excellent choice for a book club discussion. Great choice. There was so much to talk about.
For sure.
Anything we missed?
My last comment is I was trying to show my girlfriend is currently watching this podcast, but she's only done the movie. We were trying to find the movie. We didn't have a Netflix account. So we're trying to see if we could like rent it from YouTube. We entered, I'm thinking of anything's on YouTube, and it sent us to a hotline for like suicide prevention before anything else.
Yeah. And is the hotline 988? Is that what it is still? If anybody needs that this month, if anybody's having a bad needs to talk
I'm
to
not sure. It's a good question, Leslie. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you read this and your mindset is this is promoting you to kill yourself, you should like reach out to people, reach out to whatever Alex is gonna pull out. Like
Yeah.
it's not over. You're not an 80-year-old man. Hopefully you're not an 80-year-old man whose brain is like mentally ill or whatever.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Leslie. It's 988.
Okay.
Call
Yeah.
988 if you need help.
Thank you so much for having this book club. This was a really fun read, and I flew through it too as well, which is rare for me. So that was cool.
Yeah. I enjoyed the read also. I know I've been very critical, but I enjoyed reading it. I was like confused, and then I thought it tied together very neatly. which again, it was the total opposite of the film, where it started out very concise and then abstracted. This was like the whole fucking time I'm trying to figure out, what is this? What am I reading right now? And then it actually did put a ribbon on it at the end. I'm like, wow, that was actually pretty impressive the way he did that.
Yeah.
I really, by the end of the book, I was like, this isn't going to go anywhere. And then I was wrong. I was like, this actually had a like satisfying conclusion to it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Going once? So,
All right. Well, thanks.
say something.
Off here. Thank you for having me. Hope to join you. Maybe not for Dune in June, although I love Dune. New movies coming out, but next.
Yeah. Thanks, Leslie. Thanks for being here. Check out Morning Candle.
Bye.
Bye. See you, Vicky. See y'all. Check out Cassette Stress. Check out Adiractic on Bandcamp, and we'll see you next month for Dune in June.
Oh, also
second Dune book, Dune Messiah.
Movie club. Let me know what's.
Oh yeah, we're doing Coraline for recommended by Raven for the next movie club.
And we're gonna also compare movie and book.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a book? I didn't know that.
It was a book before. It was.
I'm assuming it's short, so I can go through
I mean,
it like
yeah,
that.
it's actually like a little
List.
smaller than this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So catch us for I don't know when the movie club be up, but we'll let you know. And yeah.